Are you transferring property to a loved one, or is a loved one transferring property to you? What is the best way to transfer property between relatives?
In the Philippines, it's typical for parents to transfer properties to their children during their lifetime, either as a gift or as an advance inheritance. Sometimes they do this so that the properties are already transferred before they pass away. Our question comes from Ronald P.
Hi.
And he asks, Attorney, my parents are old and they want to transfer their house and lot to me so that I won't have any more problems when they die. What's the best way for them to transfer the property to me? I heard from my friends that we can choose between a sale or a donation. Which do you think is better? If you're in a similar position as Ronald, stick around as we answer his question.
This video is brought to you by Transferring Land in the Philippines, a workshop that teaches Filipinos the basic modes of transferring land and real properties in the Philippines. It provides the pros and cons of each mode, as well as the steps and procedures so that you eliminate your confusion and successfully navigate the whole process. Transfer with confidence. Transfer without fixers. Go to info.legalguide.ph to learn more. Welcome to Legal Guide Philippines, where we simplify the law to help you make better choices. I'm Attorney Ramon Ramirez, and I'm with my partner,
Attorney Erwin Zagala. So today, we're talking about transferring properties to loved ones. Specifically, what's the best way to transfer property from one person to another, especially if it's two or from a loved one. Now, Attorney Ramon, we've seen a lot of these situations happening where parents will transfer their properties to their kids during their lifetime so that when they die, the kids no longer need to pay taxes. So, when they do that, what is the best way to transfer the property? Should we document it as a sale or as a donation? Should we execute a deed of absolute sale or a DOAS or a deed of donation?
Okay, so you're correct, Attorney Irwin. This happens a lot. This transfer is usually done by parents as some sort of a tax planning already. So why? So that their children no longer need to bear the burden of a tax that right now we call it the estate tax, which is a tax that needs to be paid when a parent dies and before the properties can be transferred to the children. Okay, so in effect, it's some sort of tax planning because it's already being done by the parents. Okay, um, but before we answer that question,
Which is better?
yeah, which is better, a sale or donation? I think I'd want to tackle three things first.
So you need to understand these three.
Yes.
So that we can
Okay, so that
understand
we
the answer.
so we can understand the answer.
Mhm.
Okay, so first thing we want to tackle is we want to I think it would be helpful to explain what is the difference, what is a sale and what is a donation.
Ano
Okay.
pinagkaiba ng dalawa?
Yes, what is the difference? So let's start with the sale. So
Mhm.
under of course, we're lawyers. We have to give the definition under the civil code, under the
Okay,
law.
Attorney
Okay?
Ramon, basa.
Okay, basa. Okay, ako si attorney. Okay, a sale is an agreement whereby one of the parties obligates himself to deliver something to the other, who on his part binds himself to pay therefore for a sum of money or its equivalent.
Yun, napakalinaw ng sale.
Napakalinaw. so, so let's break it down. So basically, it's a contract, okay, whereby one party, okay, one party says, okay, I'm going to deliver something to you. Like let's say, I'll deliver this phone,
Mhm.
I'm delivering something to you.
Mhm.
So naman, on your part, you also bind yourself to pay for whatever it is that I give deliver to you.
I deliver the payment.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
okay.
Sum of money or its equivalent.
Mhm.
Okay, so elements of a sale, basically, it's like any contract, there's the meeting of minds. Okay, so there's a definite agreement between the parties with respect to the thing, yung object natin, and yung cost or yung price of the thing. So let's say I'm selling it for 100 pesos. Yeah, that is our cost. Okay, of course, it's important that both of us have legal capacity. So I think we look like we're of age naman, no? So we have legal capacity. We have the ability to enter into a legal affairs or contracts. Okay. Second element is we should have an object or a subject matter which is a determinate thing to be sold. So in our case, it's the cell phone. So it's a determinate thing. Okay, we agreed that this is the thing that will be subject of the sale. And last is the cost or consideration. Okay, like I said, it's the 100 pesos. It's a price certain in money. Okay? Very clear. Okay, now ano naman ang donation?
Ay,
Attorney Erwin.
maganda siguro basahin mo na
Basahin
naman yan.
natin.
Okay.
Under Article 725, a donation is an act of liberality whereby a person disposes gratuitously of a thing or right in favor of another who accepts it. Okay. Clear ba?
Ang linaw din.
Linaw ba?
Ang linaw din.
So, basically, ayun, no, it's an act of liberality whereby imbis na meron tayong palitan ng pera, okay, I want to because of my liberality, I will just give you my phone.
Okay.
Eh?
So, sa Tagalog, bigay.
Yes.
Attorney Ramon,
Pero
something
kailangan i-accept mo rin. Because
requirement.
yeah.
Kasi kahit na ibigay mo
kung ayaw mo, so yun donation.
Parang may nakita akong pattern. Dalawa palang B.
Ano yung unang B, attorney?
Bili.
Bili.
Okay. Yung pangalawa, bigay.
Yes.
So, pick between the two Bs.
Okay. So, sale is bili, donation is bigay.
Yeah.
Okay? B or B. All right. So that is the difference of a sale between a sale and a donation. I hope that's clear. Okay. So actually even without the legal definitions, I think it's pretty clear in our heads, no?
B or B?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Yun na naman yan.
Okay. Second thing I want to discuss is now how come nauso to? How come you can choose your own adventure, so to speak, in terms of how to transfer something to your loved one?
Usually, nagiging usapan yan. Lupa, anong maganda?
Yeah. So, about donation. Ano po gagawin natin, attorney? Okay. Now, why did this become popular? Well, definitely under our laws, parties are definitely free to contract in whatever manner they see fit, as long as they don't violate, of course, our laws, good morals, customs, etc. No, they can contract, naman. But in my experience, the reason for this choose your own adventure kind of thing, and why it became a thing, was because before the train law, the tax rates for these two kinds of contracts, a sale and a donation, were quite different.
May epekto sa tax.
Yes,
Ramon. Okay.
right. So it was kind of tax driven. No, so on the one hand, for a sale of property or land or whatever, usually this will trigger a tax called the CGT, or the capital gains tax. Okay, remember that CGT. That usually just means capital gains tax. Okay, which was 6% of the fair market value or gross selling price, whichever is higher. Okay, so just remember 6%, no? As opposed to a donation before the train law. Okay, a donation at the time, it ranged. It was based on a graduated graduated rates, no, ranging from 2% to 15%.
Nagbabago.
Yes, so depending on the value of what you will donate.
Mas malaki yung donate mo, mas mahal.
Mas mahal. Yes. Okay, and then you cap it at around 15%. And this is for relatives only.
Okay. Ibang usapan pa pag hindi relative.
Like hindi tayo blood relatives, even if we're brother from another mother, di ba? Even if ganon, we're treated as strangers, and at that time, if I donated something to you or you donated something to me, it was a whopping 30%.
30%.
30%.
30.
Yes.
Parang ayaw nila na magbigayan.
Exactly. Parang parang penalty pa magbigay. Anyway, so that was why nauso siya. So back in the day, what will they do? They'll make computations on their Excel spreadsheets, diba? And determine which is cheaper. Okay, and then meron top line, sale, bottom line, donation, and then they'll see which one is cheaper based on their
parang you're pulling from memory. Mukhang sanay na sanay ka rin.
So, and then of course, that's what you would base your if you were a service provider, you would base your advice on that. Ito guys, mas mura to.
So, Attorney Ramon, basically the main consideration before is hindi kung ano yung type of transaction.
Yes.
Hindi yung D or B.
No.
It's because magkano yung babayaran ko?
Magkano yung babayaran ko?
Kaya pala, kaya naging malaking issue before. Ano ba? sale o
Ano bang mas
donation?
okay? Yan.
Yung
So usually made that computation. Now in
nasagot na rin sa wakas. Okay.
so in many ways it made sense to regular people to do this. Why? Well, because these CGTs or capital gains tax and donors taxes, these were expenses of ordinary people. Okay, people like you and me who probably work jobs, who work really hard for our living. Why make waste money on, in our minds, unnecessary taxes, di
As
ba?
opposed to a business expense na negosyo yung
Yes,
nagbabayad, ito galing sa sarili mong bulsa.
correct.
Okay.
Okay, that's why it became rampant. And of course, add to that, some experts and advisors would advise them to pick and choose the transaction.
No,
Okay.
Attorney Ramon, you mentioned before na nung nag-start itong segment na to, sinabi mo, before the train law.
Yes, correct.
Ngayon, train law na.
Right.
So, my big question is, I'm sure iniisip din ito ng mga viewers natin, is this still applicable considering train law na tayo ngayon?
Thank you for that question, Attorney Ray, and that's exactly the third thing I want to talk about. So the third thing I want to talk about is this still applicable now? Well, the answer is no. Um, uh, People have been doing this for years. Obviously, the BIR knows that people do this, yung sale versus donation. They're not stupid. The government knows this. No, they're not idiots. So they knew that this was being practiced. So they made important changes to our tax laws very recently through the trade law. So now with the new law, with the train law, this practice is no longer as prevalent. Why? Because now the rates are remember CGT? What was the rate for CGT? 6%.
6%
Yeah.
CGT. Tapos, it's based on the fair market value.
Yeah.
Diba?
Or gross selling price. And then yung ano naman, donor's tax, you have your 2 to 15%. Okay, and or sometimes 30%.
Ngayon, ano na?
Ngayon, they're both 6%.
Uy, wow.
Okay? So that's a pretty big leap. So I think that was a smart thing for the government to do, na i-equalize naman. And kasi it was just driving people to not tell the truth. Right?
And I would like to note, it's a very fair percentage. Kung mapapansin nyo, medyo nandun siya sa mababa na level. Hindi lahat i-standardize dun sa taas. Nandun tayo sa baba.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, legislators, for that. So in fact, the donor's tax, before you had to make a distinction o kamag-anak ba yan or stranger, right? Now under the new law, there's no such distinction that needs to be made. So that's pretty cool. Okay?
Pwede mo na akong bigyan ng lupa.
Pwede na 6%, pare. Okay. So now when you make a comparative computation, the values of the CGT and donor's tax should generally not be too different. Okay? So of course each tax is different, computed differently, so there may be differences, but generally hindi na sila ganun ka nagkakalayo.
Okay, Attorney Ramon, naiintindihan ko na pareho na pala ngayon.
Yes, sir.
Kung titignan mo from a tax perspective. So going back to our original question, Attorney Ramon, ano ang better, sale or donation?
Okay, ang dami kong sinabi, babalik na tayo dun sa sa question mo. Okay, but which is better? I would say that the better option between a sale or donation is the contract that you really intended. Okay. So if you intended a sale, you should execute a document which best reflects the intent of the parties or you guys. Okay. So if the parties intended a sale, then execute a deed of sale. If the parties intended a donation, then execute a deed of donation. Okay. Don't simulate a contract, guys. That's just lying. Don't lie, please. Don't try to trick the others or the government just to save on pesos.
That's bad.
Yeah. We can do better than that. If you execute a deed of sale when you really secretly intended a donation, then that would be called a simulated sale, and there are legal implications to that. Okay? Actually, a simulated sale may be invalidated, or it can be argued to be invalidated because there's really no consideration. Diba? Kunwari, pare, execute na lang natin to. Let's execute this document as if it's a sale so that we can save on tax, but actually it's a donation. Okay, so in truth, there's really no one of the elements of a sale is a consideration. Now, if there's no consideration, then it could be invalidated. Diba? In fact, during the time of BIR Commissioner Jacinto Henares, it was really something that she wanted to crack down on. So she made it a point to really investigate the capacity to pay of so-called buyers. Okay, so if ever they find that there's no capacity, they assess additional taxes that need to be paid.
That's very useful, Attorney Ramon.
Mhm.
Do you have any other tips for our viewers and listeners?
Yes. Okay. So I hope I answered your question. So sailor nation, the answer is
Ano ba yung totoo?
yes. Go with that. You can never go wrong.
Pareho naman ng tax rates.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as a bonus tip, even this whole concept of transferring land to your kids to avoid paying so much estate taxes later on may no longer be such a good idea.
Mm.
Why? Because before, similar to the donor's tax, the estate tax rates would again be based on a graduated scale, and the maximum of which would be around 20%.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a pretty big chunk of that go to taxes, diba? So, and like that again, that was before. That's why a lot of people avoided it by transfer ko na sa anak ko para wala nang problema, no? But now under the train law, that is also 6%
Ha?
as well.
So kapantay na.
Yeah.
Donation, sale, estate, 6%.
Yes.
Saan ka pa?
Same rate, diba?
Oo.
Thank you, thank you, legislators. Okay, and also another reason why I'd say that probably doing that kind of tax planning is no longer as good as an idea as it was before was tayo yung deductions, diba?
Kasi nagbago rin yung deductions.
Yes.
Actually,
also,
mas beneficial ngayon for the
yeah.
heirs.
Yeah. So as opposed to CGT also and donor's tax na hindi walang deduction, the estate tax meron. Okay, so it might not be anymore that good of an idea. Again, but you'd want to consult your lawyer on that.
Or if you want a very quick intro on estate laws, you might want to consider info.legalguide.ph/estate to learn more.
Mhm.
Yan. So that's it, Attorney Ramon. Thank you so much for all of those points. And to recap, guys, we've gone through a lot. First off, we talked about what is a sale and what is a donation. In its simplest terms, the two B's, bili and bigay. Choose which applies. Now, number two is we talked about why was there such a big fuss between sale or donation? Why was it like choose your own adventure for some people? And we went through the history na magkaiba pala yung tax rate before. So to take advantage, people chose the mode which was more beneficial to them. Third, we talked about wait, ganun pa ba ngayon? Does it still apply? Apparently not. With the introduction of the train law, pantay-pantay na po yung tax rates. And as a result, kung pantay-pantay lang din naman yung babayaran, have the contract reflect what is your original intent.
Yes.
And finally, we had a bonus tip. Pre-transferring your properties may no longer be such a good idea. Why? Nagbago rin kasi yung mga allowable deductions under estate law. Baka mas makamura ka pa kung estate instead of transferring it while you are still alive. Now, if you want to learn more about how to transfer land in the Philippines, please go to info.legalguide.ph/land to learn more. And if you want us to tackle your question in our show, go to legalguide.ph and click the submit topic button. Next, we would like to know what's your biggest takeaway from today's video. Write it down in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you feel we've earned a good rating, please give us a like and a subscribe. It gives us feedback that we're doing a good job and encourages us to make more videos.
One last thing, guys. Trying to trick the government by concealing or simulating contracts just to save on a few thousands, hundreds, or even millions is very often a short-sighted strategy, which can definitely bite you in the ass later on. Many times, cheating the government of its taxes by simulating contracts or whatnot stems from merely a lack of understanding or lack of preparation and lack of planning. We can always educate ourselves, research, discuss, or even consult someone. Now, let's give our country what it's due by paying the right taxes. Let's influence our leaders in government by being honest in all our dealings and transactions. So, wasn't that simple? Now, go make better choices.